On Tuesday the 15th, we took our second excursion. We toured the city of Belize in an hour-long trip to Altun Ha. After taking a 20-minute tender ride, we arrived in Belize City. We arrived just in time for the Belizean Film Festival. A swing bridge was built in 1923 and connects the north and the south sides of Belize City. It spans Haulover Creek. It's hand-cranked, open and closed twice a day for the fishing fleets. It was also featured in the 1980 film The Dogs of War. The beauty of the harbor hid the poverty of Belize City, just a few blocks away. Upon arriving at the dock, we all gathered together and assembled on a bus ride which took about an hour, which took us out to Altun Ha. The Lighthouse was built in 1926. At its base is a mausoleum for Baron Buss, who was the island's greatest benefactor. It was built to guide boats into Haulover Creek. Marine Boulevard was added to increase the land mass of the city. The majority of the housing in Belize is in poverty. The country has only existed since 1981 when they gained their independence from England. Occasionally you'll see a nice house. Most people only have enough money to keep themselves fed and little money for repairs. Located on Marine Boulevard is the Prime Minister's house. It's a nice house. It has 2 guards and a dog watching over it. Scattered throughout the countryside are small shops where people are trying to eke out a living. Many of the houses built are standing on stilts. That's because the land is below sea level. We saw several schools with the beautiful children there in their school uniforms. As we were driving by the Wallace River in our bus on the way to Altun Ha, we had a flat tire. We had to sit around 45 minutes until a replacement bus came to pick us back up. We drove for quite some time through the rainforest. It is very hot, humid, and dense. There is all sorts of trees that are very uncommon to where we live, such as all the bananas and palms. It's very common for a vine to overtake a tree and live in its branches and climb up it. Here we have an example of a climbing cactus.
Center is over here. Just right, yeah, going right over here on the right.
I'm gonna go wait at the business center. That's where they told me to wait.
Some people, villagers of this area, wanted to construct a road for the village that we drove through. And the name of that village that we drove through is called Rock, Stone, Water. They wanted a road for the village, so they said, guess what? These things back here, they look like some beautiful mountains. It seems like we could get some excellent material. So let's start dynamiting. And that's where it started.
How many of you have heard about the jade head? The jade head is the largest piece of hard jade object ever to be discovered throughout this Mayan world. That piece of jade weighs 9 3/4 pounds and it stands 6 inches tall. Now, to give you an idea how important or how valuable that piece is, it is comparative to diamond. Think about yourself owning a piece of diamond weighing 9 3/4 pounds. Now, that jade head was found right here at this particular Mayan site, buried with an elderly priest. The city was used mainly for trading, like a big market area. There are 2 main plazas that we'll be going through. We're in Plaza A here. As we go on the tour, we go into the second plaza. It's relatively small compared to other Mayan sites, but it was found to be one of the richest. In Plaza A here, this was the primary area for trading and ceremonies from 200 years before Christ up until like 450 AD. The most outstanding temple is that one right there. the Temple of the Green Tomb, or Temple A1, that is connected to A2 and A8. The temple-like part of the building, when the excavation work was done into it, the archaeologists discovered a burial. The ruler had over 300 pieces of jade carvings, necklaces, and pendants buried with him. He nicknamed it the Temple of the Green Tomb when he was done. The Mayan civilization here dates back to around 200 years before Christ, and it lasted up until like 900 years after. When excavation was done, the archaeologists believed that this city was used mainly for trading. A lot of resources that we do not have in the country was actually discovered here at Altun Ha. Number one for the Mayans was jade. That green stone, jade, you cannot find it in the country. It comes all the way from the highlands of the Motagua Valley in Guatemala.
It's very impressive walking into the Plaza B and looking over seeing Temple B4 and how tall it is. Later on, you'll see the altar on top of it.
They have windows over there.
Very good. The one over here, do you see windows on it? Remember what's remaining today is what's remaining after excavation. The walls went up, they had coverings on top of it. That's what actually a residential before. If you take a look all the way up on top, there is a little area for respect for the person who was found in there. If a loved one passes away, would we get offended if we see someone standing on top of their tomb? Yes. More than likely we would. So we give them the respect that they
Looking down from structure A3 towards structure B1.
Now also what they found here a lot were obsidian, which is a black volcanic rock. We do not have it here. The Mayans use it as sacrificial blades and as knives. What did the Mayans at this city here have that was very important to the others that they did not have? A lot of flint to make arrowheads, spearhead, lighting of fire. Also because of it, the site is only about 6 miles away from the coast because of its close proximity. They believe it was used for the making of salt to preserve their food, and a lot of farming was done because the soil is very good. Some of the same stuff that we enjoy today was actually used back in the days of the Mayans. Their staple food was corn, avocado, chili pepper, different types of beans. Did you all know that the Mayans were the first to domesticate and introduce chocolate to the world? Thank you. Yeah, so it was Cadbury, Hershey had nothing on the Mayan. The cacao bean was actually their form of money. That's what I don't want. All right? And why they believe that the city now was used mainly for trading and not for bigger ceremonies because no spellers, as I mentioned, was found here or any bar court.
Looking from on top the Great Pyramid B4, you can see the vast expanse of the jungle in all directions. If you look very close in the structure B5, you can see the window slits that have been placed in as it was built. Looking down from structure B4, you can see structure B6. As you can see from these following pictures, the overgrowth of the jungle is so dense with all the vines and trees, it's virtually impossible to walk through without machete. How these people built this carrying stones, it must have took a great endeavor.